Joseph's name was not a promise. It was a prophecy of harvest. Everyone knows Joseph, the coat of many colors, the dreamer, the favored son, the slave, the prisoner, the prince. It is the greatest rags-to-riches story in the Bible, from slavery to the throne of Egypt in one dramatic arc. But here is what your Sunday school teacher never told you. Joseph's name is not just a name. It is the key to the entire story. Most people think Joseph's name comes from the root Yasaf, meaning to add. His mother Rachel named him that because she cried out, "May the Lord add to me another son." But that is only half the truth. The root of Joseph's name is not Yasaf. It is Asaf, Asap, which means to gather, to collect, to bring in, and most importantly, to harvest. Joseph's name does not mean he adds. Joseph's name means he gathers. And once you see that, once you understand that Joseph's entire life is a story of harvesting, the whole Bible opens up like a field ready for reaping. Stick with me, because if you understand what Joseph's name really means, you will understand something essential about your own suffering. You are not being scattered, you are being gathered. Let's start with the name. Joseph is Yosef in Hebrew, Yosef. The root of his name is Asaf, Asap, which means to gather, collect, bring in, or assemble. A key word with this same root is asif, asip, meaning harvest, that which is collected. Joseph's name is related to the idea of taking away in the sense of gathering. Taking the crops away from the field, as occurs in collecting a harvest. Now, here is the mind-blowing part. When Rachel named him Joseph, she was not just saying, "God add to me." She was saying, "God gather to me, harvest for me, bring in the fruit of my womb." And Joseph's entire life became a prophecy of that name. From the moment he was born to the moment he died, Joseph was gathering. He was gathering grain. He was gathering people. He was gathering nations. He was gathering his family. He was the harvester of God's redemptive plan. Now let's look at Joseph's dream. "We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." Now ponder that dream in light of his name's allusion to gathering and harvest. Joseph dreamed of harvest. He dreamed of gathering. He dreamed of sheaves, the very thing his name pointed toward. His brothers understood the dream. They knew exactly what it meant. That is why they hated him. But here is what they did not understand. Joseph was not dreaming of his own glory. Joseph was dreaming of God's plan. The sheaves were not bowing to Joseph. They were bowing to the gatherer, the one through whom God would gather his people. The dream was not a prediction of Joseph's future greatness. The dream was a prophecy of God's future gathering. Now, here is the part that will change how you read the entire Joseph narrative. Once you see the root Asaf, to gather, to harvest, you start seeing it everywhere in Joseph's story. Joseph is taken away, gathered, from his family and gathered into slavery. Potiphar's house. Joseph is put in charge of the household and field, the place of harvest. He encounters the royal cupbearer and baker, people whose livelihood is directly associated with food and harvest. Pharaoh's dream. The dream is about harvest, 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. The famine. Joseph is put in charge of Egypt's harvest and future food supply. The brothers. They come to Egypt because of a famine, a lack of harvested food. The family. Eventually, the entire family is gathered there. Do you see it? Joseph's entire life reflects the notion of gathering and harvesting reflected in his Hebrew name. Everything that happened to Joseph, the good and the bad, the betrayal and the blessing, was part of a divine harvest. God was gathering, God was collecting, God was bringing in the harvest of his redemptive plan. And Joseph was the instrument of that gathering. Now, we come to the culmination. Joseph's brothers come to Egypt to buy grain. They do not recognize him, but Joseph recognizes them. And after years of testing, after years of weeping, after years of waiting, Joseph reveals himself. "I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. Here is the gathering. Joseph was not sent to Egypt for his own sake. He was sent to gather grain, to gather nations, to gather his family, to gather the people of God. And in that moment, when Joseph embraced his brothers and wept over them, the harvest was complete. The sheaves bowed. The dream came true. The gatherer gathered. But here is the most beautiful detail. Joseph did not gather for himself. He gathered for God. Joseph said, "God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance." The gatherer was not gathering for his own glory. The gatherer was gathering for the preservation of God's people. Now, let's bring this home. Joseph's name, Yosef, means he gathers. And Joseph's life teaches us that God is always gathering. Even when you feel scattered, even when you feel abandoned, even when you feel like you have been thrown into a pit and forgotten, God is gathering. Here is the question Joseph forces you to ask. What is God gathering in your life right now? And what is He gathering through you? You are in a pit. You are in a prison. You are in a narrow place. You have lost your coat, your family, your freedom, your reputation, your hope, and you think God has abandoned you. But Joseph's story says otherwise. God is not scattering you. God is gathering you. He is gathering your broken pieces. He is gathering your lost years. He is gathering your tears into a bottle. And one day, when the harvest is ready, He will gather you home. But here is the deeper truth. You are also a gatherer. Joseph was not just gathered. Joseph was the instrument of gathering. He gathered grain. He gathered nations. He gathered his family. Who are you gathering? Who are you bringing in? Who are you harvesting for the kingdom? Because the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Are you a gatherer? But I have saved the most chilling detail for last. When Joseph's brothers came to Egypt to buy grain, they did not recognize him. But Joseph recognized them. And he wept. He wept for the years lost. He wept for the betrayal. He wept for the pain. He wept for the family that had been torn apart. And then, he forgave them. But here is the question that has haunted scholars for centuries. Why did Joseph test his brothers? Why did he put them through the trial if he had already forgiven them? Because forgiveness is not the same as restoration. God is gathering. Even when it feels like scattering, you are being harvested for a purpose.